Hello, hello, hello. See people trickling in. We're giving it a couple seconds. Hi, Bryce. Hi, James. Diego's coming in there. All right. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I'm your host, Stevie V. Back in business here. Happy to be back alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. Welcome back home, darling, as we missed you so much.
Thank you. You guys did an amazing job. I
Thank
heard
you.
snippets throughout it, and you guys did such a good job. You guys always do. And
Thanks, baby.
I,
We learned from the
yeah,
best.
oh, I, of course, was in London. If I didn't mention it, this is episode 634, but I am back. Happy to be back in New York City, although it is freezing. My gut, I know I've even got a little blanket here. I'm just like,
You got a blanket on? I live. Let me go get my blanket.
get your
Sure.
blanket. Have Joe bring over a little blanket.
It's a
Yeah.
cozy text live.
It's a
Cozy.
cozy text. We're here to keep you warm for the next hour. I mentioned I'm back. Like I said, I was in London. If you listen to episode 633, I give a really good breakdown of why I went for my birthday. It all had to do with Devil Wears Prada and Vanessa Williams. But listen to that one. I won't redo that one. But I wanted to just tell you of a couple other things that I saw there that if you are going in the next couple of months, the Naomi Campbell exhibit is worth it, and it's at a major UK museum, the VA museum, which is like in terms of museums around the world. And you never know, because I've always been a fan of Naomi Campbell, and but like, is there enough to fill up this whole exhibit? No, there is, and then some. And they take her voice and the gowns and multimedia and sensory experience and create this beautiful thumping exhibit of Naomi Campbell that in my generation, because when I was in my 20s in the early 90s and 90s, that's when she had her thing. And remember the supermodels? It
She was at her
was
pinnacle. Yeah.
her, Christy
Christy Turlington.
Turlington,
Linda
Linda
Evangelista.
Evangelista, and Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford. That's right. We got them
We
together.
got it. And remember the George Michael video, the
Girl.
Freedom?
But Naomi wasn't in it. She got replaced by Tyra because I think Naomi couldn't do it.
Oh, are you sure?
Naomi definitely wasn't in it, but I don't know exactly why she wasn't
They
in it.
played that.
Oh no, Freedom. I'm thinking of Too Funky. You're right. Naomi is in Freedom.
She's in Freedom. Yeah, because they have this in the exhibit. It's so good. Highly recommend seeing that. Also, a neighbor told me about this who deals in art, the Sir John Soane house that you can go to. He was an architect, did the UK London Bank back in the day. Going to his house and the exhibit, which by the way is free, is filled with treasures, and it is almost like not a haunted house where you keep turning and going into these different rooms, and it's filled with treasures. It is. That's all I'm going to say. Sir John Soane's museum is worth it. Just do it. Those are my two recommendations. And lastly, a little fun thing about travel. You know, Kodi, how here in New York, we take the subway. We are stomping around this city, like get out of our way. We know how to like power walk. We're on a runway whenever we step out of our apartments. Well, I learned something about London. I think this is probably the first time that I've been to London before with friends. We took our mom. I've been several times, but this was the first time where we really took the tube and the trains, and my sister walks super fast as I walk super fast. And we were storming around, running on the tube. Well, I'm storming around like I thought I was on the streets of New York. And little known fact is, you know how the traffic, they drive on the opposite side
Okay.
that we do. I'll
Yeah.
never forget, I got into an Uber. My sister started giggling because I was so like, oh, hi, because somebody was in the passenger seat. Okay, no, they were in the driver's seat. And I was so freaked out. Like, who's in the oh, hello, driver, in the place that you're supposed to be when you are in London. Well, that was like one of the only few times that we took an Uber. Most of the time, we were storming around, like I said, on the tube or storming around. We walk on the right side like our traffic does. In the
Yeah.
UK, they walk on the opposite side because they drive on the opposite side. So
Yeah, they do.
we're trying to storm down 80 miles an hour and power walking it, and people are kind of coming. Now, not everyone follows this rules, but enough UK real people that know it are coming at me. And my sister says, maybe they go on the opposite side of the street. I'm like, no, why would they do that? You walk on the right and people walk on the other side on the left. That's just what you do.
Well, not everywhere is the same, girl. Not have you so living in New York, I have noticed this before that people sometimes walk on the opposite side of
Oh, and I'm
of the
so
sidewalk.
upset with them.
But I only always take it into account that maybe they're from another place and they
It would
normally
be it would be
walk
the
on that
UK,
side.
darling, and because
Yes,
that's the only
darling.
one.
Well, other places too, because in France they drive on the same side of the street as in the UK, right?
No, they
Yes,
don't.
yes, they do.
You better look that up right now because I
I'm
don't think they,
googling it
no, they
right now.
don't. They do not. It's an English thing, and they drive on the same side as we do. And so I learned that, and it was so
You drive on
crazy.
the right side
Just like
in
we
France.
do, baby.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it's a
Like most your
British.
no. Like okay, all
There
right. Hold on
might be
one
a few
second.
other places
Wait.
in the world, but it Paris does not. I guarantee you.
Oh yes, they drive on the right. Okay. All
Right.
right. All right. All right.
And I want to say it's the right side, but but oh my god, yeah, I learned that lesson really quick. Vivian's like, well, maybe they just because of the traffic. I'm like, what? No. And I decided to AI it today, and turns out, yep, no, they do the same side as the traffic. So joke's on me. And so if you're going to, I was so big on looking like to the left and to the right to make sure that, I didn't get killed, that whole thing of crossing the street, that I didn't factor that in. But yeah, that's a funny thing. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
So funny.
We've got a show for you, honey, today. I just came back in time to cover so many topics. But before I do, our Tags Patreon community is the place that we give you extra special sexy perks. And I am back in business in mid-January. I just uploaded for our tiered members a video today on our new 50 and Fabulous series, tips and tricks on remaining and feeling the youngest that you can feel. And I did a whole stretching video that I uploaded on my morning routine on stretches. And, I'm a former personal trainer, I'm a former gymnast. And so I know all the things, those kinks that you get. I do all of that for you to get you going in the morning, part one. And it's all for you. Tiered members, when you grab a tier and you support tags, that went out today. And tomorrow we are so giving. Once a month we give out our bonus episode, and I put together our January 1st ever 2025 bonus episode. Things you won't hear on this show. It's extra topics that we cover just for you, those that support us on our Patreon Tags community, and that goes out tomorrow morning. So it's a big week of giving extra special sexy perks. How can you get it? You can grab a tier, and when you do, you really are supporting the show you've known to come and love, which is Tags Podcast, Tags Live. We do 2 shows a week, and it keeps us going. It just shows that the tiers are, I think we got a $7 tier, we got a $14 tier for a month, and we really appreciate it. It helps us out tremendously. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast and grab a tier, and you can get those tiers that I just mentioned. But if you just want to check it out and you want to grab a free tier, go over there as well, because I've got behind the scenes content that you won't get on social media that you'll only get there. So go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast as well. All right, let's get into it, because this week was crazy. I mean, we had Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, and we also had the inauguration. And can I just say the inauguration was a shit show from Trump's negative. And I mean, it's supposed to be presidential, the inauguration speech. You're supposed to be bringing groups of people that did and didn't vote for you together. You're supposed to be inspiring people presidentially on what's to come for the next 4 years. It was downtrodden. It was blaming. It was nothing short of low energy. It was just negative, is how he started his inaugural speech. But wait, it didn't stop there. The audio
there's more.
Wait, there's more. The audio was out. I mean, remember on President Biden's inauguration, and we had Jennifer Lopez sing, and she turned it out and she looked glorious. Remember, we had Lady Gaga looked stunning and put on an amazing performance. Well, Carrie Underwood tried to reclaim that same, and it was a dud because her audio was out, and the audio seemed to be a big problem into the inauguration balls that occur, after you have the big day, then they go into these balls, and Billy Ray Cyrus's audio was out, but it almost didn't matter because his voice was he tried to sing a cappella, and it was almost like he was screaming all day. He was so hoarse. It was just a shit show. Carrie Underwood tried to tell her people that she wanted the Lady Gaga moment. Well, she didn't get it. And don't blame the Democrats or the left, because this was all on the people that put it on were the Trump administration. So blame them. Mm-hmm. That's what you have to look forward to. Bad audio. Okay, what else was bad? The gross billionaire lineup of media moguls that stood in line there. Mark Zuckerberg to Elon Musk. Yep. Elon Musk giving his speech with the Nazi salute. Are you kidding me? He used the Nazi salute. Lauren Sanchez's cheap-looking white suit. Yeah, I'm calling out Lauren Sanchez. I can't stand her. And that suit may have been Alexander McQueen, but it looked cheap, honey. And Bishop Marianne Edgar Boudet's speech that was all about standing up for our rights, from immigrants to people of color to LGBTQ plus, that really said, President, please have some mercy for these underprivileged and communities. And that marginalized communities. And do you know that he said she was nasty later? He said that she should apologize. He accused her of bringing church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. He dismissed her sermon as nasty in tone, boring, and uninspiring. Mr. President, your speech was boring. It lasted too long and was unpresidential. And that's all I have to say. And lastly, I'll just end with Snoop Dogg. Really? You had to perform at this inauguration? Come on. What do you got to say, and where are we headed?
Where do I start? Let's start with the clergy person. First of all, I want to thank them. I want to applaud them because she really stuck it to them without being crass or talking down to them. It was just an empathic cry, a plea really, to be like Jesus and to love people despite who they love or despite what their circumstances are. And Donald Trump, he could not take it. At first, I think it was because she was a woman and he has an issue taking a direction from a woman. So I think that was his first issue. And also, I think he's not really capable of seeing things from different points of view. So I think that was an issue for him as well. I also want to applaud her because I saw an interview with with her on The View, and she did not back down from her message. She really just stuck it to them because he wants her to apologize, and he should be the one that's apologizing. And because it just shows me that he's not really a godly person. He just uses religion and rhetoric to his advantage. So I think that he really needs to take a step back and read the Bible for once, because he didn't even put his hand on the Bible when he was swearing in, which I think is very telling. Yeah, exactly. And I just want to talk to little Miss Carrie real quick, because you will never be Beyonce, Carrie Underwood. You will never be Lady
Gaga.
You
want
are
to
lucky.
be Jennifer Lopez.
Exactly, honey.
It turns out we know how to control the audio better.
That's right. I was gonna say some gay. She pissed off some gay, and they stuck it to her real good because they were standing there for 2 minutes looking stupid. Okay, and then she had the audacity to not even be able to sing in key a cappella. Beyonce would never. Lady Gaga would never, and she needs to just carry her little tail on and accept this little bit of fame that she is getting off of this. And don't get me started on Snoop Dogg, because he's a sellout. He, in 2017, said that he would not perform for Donald Trump. He said that anybody who performed for Donald Trump at their inauguration was a jigaboo, and I never thought I would say jigaboo on this show, but here we are. So that makes him what he said in 2017, and instead of being Uncle Snoop anymore, he's Uncle Tom, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. He chose his course, and the backlash is real.
He's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take long for the administration you would think they might be focusing on the real problems of the world. Okay, the fires in Los Angeles. He mentioned that he would be ending the war in Ukraine. Those weren't like the topics that were at hand the minute he got into office. Instead, he decided to erase LGBTQ plus and HIV content from federal websites. And he also decided to get rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and put a message out to all those employees that they will be on paid leave, but basically they're fired. Their positions are over. And to really say stuff like that, GLAAD's statement highlights other terms: lesbian, bisexual, gay, gender identity, transgender, and sexual orientation that have also been reportedly censored and erased on some aforementioned federal websites. Trump, they wrote, claims to be a strong proponent of freedom of speech, yet he is clearly committed to censorship of any information containing or relating to LGBTQ plus Americans and issues that we face. And you know, Kodi, that in his speech, he said basically there are two genders. Only, and that already is setting the tone on where it's headed. And to think that people like Caitlyn Jenner is kissing his ring and supporting him, he don't care about you. You don't fall into the you call yourself trans. Last time we saw, he don't recognize you. He said it in his speech. When are you people? This is different. For all the people that are saying, like, to Snoop Dogg and the Caitlyn Jenners on let's give him a chance, and the pendulum has swung. Normally I would be on that roadmap of let's see. I still say let's see what this shit show is going to bring, but I'm going to be on it because I feel like we're about to do a story that could affect our community sexually in a second. But to say this isn't just a normal administration, they've shown us who they are in the past. They've put out a proposal, Project 2025, which on day one, they're implementing things. Mark Zuckerberg of Meta and Facebook is already eliminating things. You can't even put hashtags like Democrat. Today, actually, many people found themselves following Melania Trump, Donald Trump, JD Vance. I saw this happening today, And I was like, oh, that can't be happening because I've never followed any of those people. And guess what? I was following JD Vance on Facebook. And for those that want to say that, well, it was a carryover from maybe when you followed Kamala Harris or Biden, I didn't follow any of those before. I barely went back on Facebook recently just because I saw a lot of my old friends on there, but I didn't follow any of those. So, what is happening, Kodi?
I don't understand it. So let's start with the fact that Trump got rid of all of the LGBTQ plus and HIV content from the federal websites. I think that is absolutely dangerous. I think that he is trying to send us a message with this, and with the laying off of all the DEI people in the administration, that we marginalized groups, he is not featuring us, that he is featuring one type of person, white people predominantly, but white straight males specifically. You can see it in who he pardoned just recently for the January 6th insurrection. You can see it very clearly in all of his rhetoric. So I think that he is trying to say to us, basically, that you people, your time is over. It is time for the who he favors it to come back into their rightful place, quote unquote. And I think that it's something that he is trying to spread with his just by who he is and the decisions that he's making in this moment. Another thing, as far as the following of JD Vance, it hasn't been done to me, but I think that this is something that should be against the law. Forcing someone to follow other people, certain people, is basically just propaganda. If you look at it and you look at the things that happened in 1940 in Germany, I think that you'll find that there are parallels as far as propaganda are concerned, and things of that nature when it comes to disseminating of information regarding a specific viewpoint. And it says to me that Meta is more than willing to be a part of this propaganda machine that Donald Trump has going on right now. And I know it's getting really political. I know I sound like somebody who reads the National Enquirer and tell you that Bigfoot is real, but I think we should all have our eyes open right now, because I think some things are coming, some things have already come down the pipeline, and we need to be prepared.
Well, one of the things that could come down the pipeline that could affect our show, bringing it back to gay sexuality, which is our main topic, but we cover a lot of these political topics because they ultimately trickle down to affecting our community. And if you think of PrEP and how you might be getting it through your health insurance and not having to pay anything, you may have to think again, because in 2022, when HIV preventative drug PrEP was basically a Texas Reed O'Connor, a federal judge known to rule conservatively, he had a handful of employees who did not follow the Affordable Care Act, ruling that mandating 100% insurance coverage for the drug PrEP. Well, the employers had argued that because PrEP was widely used by men who have sex with men, it violated the employer's beliefs under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Well, bringing it back to today, this argument, which was seen in the Project 2025, could come under effect where we might end up seeing we might have to pay for it because they're not certain that this will be covered anymore. And so this is how it can affect us. These are little things. I mean, on day one, he's implementing so many things so quickly, things like giving us PrEP, and it could be affected really soon. And so I, for one, I'm going to keep a watchful eye on everything that's going on instead of ignoring a lot of this stuff, because it will affect our community and we are going to fight for things that we've, what is this, the 60s again? It's just like early 60s. It's just ridiculous. So
yeah, I agree. The thought of life-saving drugs and the fact that they could possibly be taken from us when science has clearly shown that this is curbing the spread of HIV is just wild to me. And you would think that an alleged rapist president
Yeah.
would want this out there in the world. So I don't understand. There's a disconnect there. Maybe he's getting his on the side or something like that. But yeah, and someone just put into the chat, Malibu did. He said, I forgot Rich, and I did forget Rich. He favors white, rich, right, ah, rich white men. I don't know why that's such a tongue twister, but there we go.
It's a little alliteration.
Yeah. Rich white men. There we go.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to keep our eye on it. It's what we will do the legwork for you, because I think this stuff is really important, because he's starting out on day one. It does trickle down. We are in a backwards society as of this moment. And yeah, I just think it's crazy, right, Kodi? I mean,
it's getting wild out there in these streets. And we all need to be mindful of what's coming down the pipeline, what's already coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears to some more good news. One of our favorite people that we love to talk about is Omar Apollo. I just love him. I just love his music. I think he's so cool. He's in the film. I can't wait to watch Queer. That's probably going to get Daniel Craig a nomination for Best Actor, and he has a sex scene with Daniel Craig as well. Well, Omar Apollo decided to put kind of a clip, not even a clip, a picture of that scene, because Omar Apollo in the film plays an escort that Daniel Craig's character hires. And so he put a very provocative picture up there, but covered up his junk, which in the film, I guess we get to see. So I can't wait to see. And as a result, I know, right? I just love Omar Apollo so much.
Yeah, he's a sweetie.
He's like one of my favorite newer artists. I just adore him. And people unfollowed him. And he had a really good he basically said, he said Omar has been losing followers following his cheeky post. Why? Because Omar basically decided to call out his homophobic followers. Quote, I'm losing followers for posting this. Follow me if you're a homophobe. You're not my target audience. I will never make myself palpable or interesting for you. I am life stupid, which I thought was really great. What do you think of his response to putting that out there and, losing followers?
I get it. I completely understand. And I'm glad that he responded in the way that he did. For me to follow Omar Apollo, he's made being queer such a forefront thing in his music, in his career. It's right in the front there. So it's kind of, it just doesn't make sense to me that people would follow him and have an issue with him being gay. So I don't get it really, but I'm glad that he is standing on business and really just saying to all of these people, if you're a homophobe, then you shouldn't follow me at all. Me personally, I'm starting to get into that lane of not really making myself more palatable to people that are not on the same wavelength as me. Let me just put it that way.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think when it comes to followers, I've had people in the past where maybe when I put out my Facebook back in the day when we first started Facebook and all that, and then I got into owning my gay existence, and then with this show, if people didn't like what I had to say, they usually were people that were following me. And I say, don't follow me. I never asked you to follow me. So I'm kind of on Omar's team too. If you choose to come to my page, I didn't ask any of you to be a part of this. You chose to follow me. I follow very few people, and those that I do, I know are very open-minded, but I didn't you followed me. So go away. Sashay.
Here's what it is. This is what it is.
Yeah.
I've never made a secret about this. And I'm a people pleaser. So I have been in a lane of, let me make sure that nothing is too off kilter, that nothing is too sexualized. But I'm like, you know what? That's who I am to my
That ship
core.
has sailed. So yeah.
Right? So even I'm at the point where even if somebody sits down next to me on the train and I'm looking through whatever it is, my Instagram is a little hot, my Twitter is a little hot. So if I'm looking at it, you sat next to me and you're looking at my phone. So you need to get it together and not try and put me in a box, basically. So yeah, I'm getting there.
I love it. Okay. Well, we've got to move on. And there was a recent discussion happening online that asked the question, why are so many gay men single? And, it's true that men are disproportionately single. In a 2022 survey by Pew Research Center, 62% of gay and bi men in the US reported being single, compared to 28% of straight people and 30% of all American adults. So, I mean, what gives? Well, Redditors had a lot to say about this, including many gay, as they always do. Many gay men cannot find a match, read one post, unless they live in a big city. There are a few choices. If they do live in a big city, people tend to be more choosy and seek out the hottest looking person. So many regular guys go unnoticed. But it's not only really about our location, as somebody else pointed out, many grew up stigmatized and develop anxiety for feelings of being, I don't know, inadequate and how society and religion views them. So they remained closeted for a long time, feeling socially insecure about dating. Various reasons for all, but in the end, many just give up and resign themselves to living alone. Others pointed out to the fact that they're happy being single and it's not such a bad thing. I mean, I can talk for myself that in my 50s I've been very happily single for so many years. I wasn't always looking. I've had periods of time where I was looking for relationships. In the last several years, I'm very comfortable being single and happy with my friends and family, and sex has always been good. I happened to meet a boyfriend in the last year, and that's excellent, and he is the love of my life. But
Aww.
he also wasn't necessarily looking either. And so why do you think gay men are more single than are straights?
For me, they hit the nail on the head when they said that gay men are always looking for something, the grass that's greener. I feel, especially in big cities, there's so many options out there. And there's so many people that you can experience, that you can explore with. So I think that what happens is a lot of people just are content with going with some with the idea that they can find something better than what they have currently.
Yeah.
So I think that that's it for like final answer for me. I know that some people are happy being single, and I can acknowledge that as a thing. I've never been in that place. I've been content being single, but for me personally, I think that I have always been on the lookout for somebody to share my life with. And maybe if it's not right, then I definitely would not force myself to be in a relationship, which is why I was so single for so long before I met my previous boyfriend. But I do think that, it's individual that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I think that this article definitely points out to a lot of the reasons why we are single. It also has to do, I mean, Kodi, don't you agree that why are gay men so single is the grass is always greener as well, too? I mean, we have a lot of opportunities to just have really good friends with benefits, good sex. We go out more into our 30s, 40s, 50s to the club scene. Sometimes you don't even need it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, sex is readily available. You can go on Sniffies, you can go on Grinder, you can find somebody to hook up with no matter what. there's your flavor out there. So I think that
Flavor of the
these
week. Yeah.
flavor of the minute on Sniffies, because they really you can find somebody pretty quickly over there. So I think that people have noticed that they have multiple options, and they just take it from there. And when I don't know, I think a lot of people are happy being single as well, and that's because they are finding that they can explore all of their options. But I think there's something to be said for, finding one person that you can spend time with and really connecting with. That's my
Absolutely.
experience, at least.
Absolutely. And in nature of that, of how we both feel, I was watching a YouTube video recently of this guy named by the name of Clark Kegley. Let me see if I got his name right because I had it written here. Where is he? Clark
Were you
Kegley.
at
Yes,
Clark?
Clark Kegley. And I watched this whole video. You know how you can go down a deep dive on YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
And one of his, he's a straight guy actually, but he did a whole video on 10 ways to look attractive as fuck to basically
Oh,
draw in somebody.
he was looking at my
And
Instagram. That's what happened.
well, maybe. And I kind of agree with his 10 things that maybe we're doing wrong that we could improve on to be attractive as fuck. Number one, do interesting things. And I love that one because basically, if you find yourself like constantly just looking for love, looking for love, looking for love, do interesting things. Find something that you're good at and get into it, but don't force it. Basically,
Hmm.
do something that you find interesting, and that could, whether it's a running group that you're starting, whether it's the gym, whether it's there's all kinds of things that you could, cooking, you could take a class, you might meet people, and when you go on a date and you talk about this interesting thing that you're into, that's only going to seem interesting to the other person. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. I think that if you do something that's interesting to you, because I feel like he left that part out.
Yeah.
He said do something interesting. And I'm like, what
Yeah.
it's basically do what you think is interesting. And that way it will bring people to you into your orbit that also find those things interesting. I don't know why I'm stuttering today.
No, and you're right. And I think what the other thing is, do interesting things that so if you do something that's interesting to you, like you just said, and you bring that to the conversation of your next date, you will have something to talk about. So, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
what are we
sure.
talking about on this date? Uh, and it could be anything. You could be into vinyl and going to vinyl record stores,
Let's
and
go.
I've just gotten into that and I'm so interested in it, or a new project. If you're interested in it, chances are the person you go on a date with will find it interesting too, and you will be attractive as fuck. Number two, smile. Many people have resting bitch face. I don't have resting bitch face. I'm so happy I don't, but a lot of my friends do. And you don't.
I do.
Do you?
I
I
smile a
don't.
lot though, so you don't really notice. But I have
So
resting
if
bitch
you
face.
know you have resting bitch face and you smile a lot, you can overcome that. But nobody wants to be with somebody that looks like they're angry all the time. And some people really can't help it. I know plenty of people that, I'm thinking of our family friend who's gay, that's a comedian, that he just has resting bitch face. But the minute he opens his mouth, he's so funny. But if you just
Yeah.
saw him across the room, you'd think, why is he so angry? He's not. So, but be aware of that when you're out and about and when you're on a date and when you're trying to meet people, that soften the face, know that you can, relax it, and it'll be a lot more. So,
That one is kind of on the verge
what?
of being like, I feel like when you tell somebody that they have to smile, it's kind of like
No,
creepy.
no, no one's No one's telling any, but don't tell your date to smile. What
Can you
what
imagine? You should
no,
smile more.
I feel like okay, maybe I must not be explaining this very well. What this person is saying to help you be more attractive as
Hmm.
fuck is be aware of how you present your face when
Yes.
you're out
Okay.
and about, when you're on camera, and many people have resting bitch face. I think my boyfriend just like posted in the thing, I'm always mad. And it's like, no, you're not. You're always laughing, but whatever, Diego. But basically, you can control how you appear.
You're
And
perceived by other people.
yeah, if I saw somebody that had like an angry looking face or just resting bitch face, I'm not going to go up to them. Be aware of that. Is that fair?
I would. I would go up to them. I'd be like, "You look so sad. Want me to buy you a drink, baby?"
But you could avoid that person could avoid all that by just changing their face and being aware of it.
Then
Next
they
up,
wouldn't get a
number
free drink. I'm
okay,
sorry. Go
well,
ahead. Continue.
I'm for that one, but whatever, you can tell me. Number three, your style. Keep it simple. Things like, and what I loved about, if you watch this whole video, if I find it, I'll post it. But he just means your style. And all that simply means is you don't have to spend a lot of money on fashion. Grooming is really important. If you have a beard, keep
Yes.
it trimmed. If you get your hair cut, um, take a shower. I don't know. But in
Almost.
terms of fashion, he doesn't mean like you have to have like major style. It's like basic, like jeans and a clean shirt and a
Very basic.
nice
Take a
little
shower.
jacket. I mean, I think I bought an Express jacket the other day on
Uh-huh.
sale for $99, and everyone's been like, oh my God, I love this. And it was like, it's
Wow.
Express on sale. But just the way I paired it up with this or that, and there's all kinds of YouTube videos, basically have good grooming and have just simple style. Iron and steam your clothes, don't have wrinkles in
Mm.
them. Get a haircut. That will make you attractive as fuck. Keep in mind, these 10 things, the bar is pretty low. So if
Yeah.
you just do these simple things, you're going to attract people. Next up, humor and playfulness. Be funny. And if you don't think you're funny, be open to be your younger self. All of those things are, I mean, my boyfriend is always Mr. Jokester, as he just chimed in on my feed over here, on my personal feed, and said, I'm always mad. It's like, oh, stop it. But he's always joking around. And that to me is the key to a successful relationship is
Oh.
joking around. I mean, we joke so much in our relationship. If you can't laugh at it, it's not going to work, I think. Uh, Self awareness is what this guy said is next in line. You know, being aware that you might have issues. And I tell you guys all the time, my close friends, of things I'm working on, or when I patched up a relationship, or, I mean, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be self aware. That's attractive as fuck. Do you agree with that one?
I totally agree. I completely agree with that one.
We're so self-aware on this show that, I mean, we're always
A little
sharing
bit too
so.
much.
I know. I love the next one, asking people questions.
Mm.
If you can't ask questions and you're only about talking about yourself and you never inquire about somebody else, it's very attractive. You and I know a mutual friend that we had dinner with the other night
Hmm.
for my birthday,
Yes.
Mr. Fashion.
Love him.
He is, and it's not like he's an interviewer, but he
Yeah,
asks so many questions. That is
I agree.
so attractive. I tend to have that quality myself because I've always been an interviewer and I'm really interested in, but you notice a lot of people today don't ask you any questions.
Yeah. When
And
the
that bothers me. When somebody doesn't ask me something about my life and I notice it. It bothers me because it's like, what? You can't ask me how my day was. You can't
yeah.
ask me what I'm doing. You don't care about what I. It's like, motherfucker, I have a life that's I actually have a life that's pretty fucking fabulous. I
Yeah,
mean, if people followed my story, it's pretty cool. If you're
I
not
love it.
asking me about me and I'm asking about you, there's a problem.
Yeah. And
Just saying that.
the mutual friend that you were describing, when it's not like an interrogation when they ask questions. It's they're genuinely interested in you and what your opinions are, how your life is going, and that is so endearing and sexy. And I feel like, yeah, it just makes me want to be even more invested in their lives. So definitely ask all the questions because it makes you that much more engaging and attractive.
This next one I kind of loved, which I'm not good at, but I'm going to start implementing is say
Okay.
their name. You know, the name of everybody is very sacred. Everybody's name is sacred, right? Say their name in the first 3 minutes of meeting them 3 times if you can. But if you just get it once, hi, Kodi, nice to meet you. Hey, Kodi, how do you know my friend Marcus over here? Or how do you know if just by saying your name can be
Mhm.
very attractive and that's something that I'm not really good at, but can be when you're trying to meet people can be very
Yeah.
attractive. Do you agree with that one?
You know what? I can't remember anybody's name. So I have to meet them twice before I remember their name. So
Well, you're a
maybe
big
this will
Beyonce fan, so say my
say
name,
my
say
name,
my
say my
name.
name.
Come on.
You know what? This might actually help me because the more I say somebody's name, the more retain it. So saying it 3 times might actually help me remember them for the next time that we meet. So this might be something I might start to implement as well.
2 more to go. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast, reference episode 634. Be real. Authenticity can't be taught. Just be real. And that can mean a lot of things to different people, but know that we make mistakes. I used to think that I had to be perfect in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, even. And
Mm-hmm.
I only wanted to put anything out there that made me look glowing. And I almost wanted to be perfect to everybody that I met. Believe me,
Mm-hmm.
I was that way. And then I thought, what? This is dumb. Like the way to attract other people is to show my authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that one. Be authentic. What do you say for that?
I agree. I just had this discussion with my therapist today. You have to not perfection is in you can't attain it. Unattainable basically. And I feel like the more you are your authentic self, the better you off will be as far as your own self-worth and all the things that come along with that.
So true. Yeah. And it reminds me of a friend of mine that I'm still friends with that said, you've changed, not recently, but a while ago. He
Mhm.
said, you used to come off like so perfect. And
Mhm.
I knew there was something behind all that. And he said, I see a different side of you. You're much more authentic. And I said, thank you. I've worked on that. So
It's great.
it
I
does
love that.
make you attractive as fuck. And lastly, have intelligence, but not just intelligence, emotional intelligence.
Mm.
Emotional intelligence is caring for other people and what's going on. And do you not agree? Can I get an amen?
Amen, child. Send this list to Donald Trump. Let's go. Come on.
I love it. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, we love giving advice on this show. And you can always write into us and ask us for solicited or unsolicited advice, as we often give on this show. Um, did you have one that you were sliding into more? How to deal with a particularly passive top? Did you like that one?
That was okay. I like the husband disgusted or
Oh,
the yeah, that was the husband with that caught him. Also the passive top. So if we get to do two, it's those two. You
let's
get to choose.
the passive top one. Let's do that because
Okay,
it
let's
kind of
start.
relates to the one that we were doing the other day. How to
Okay.
deal with a particularly passive top. I recently ran into a strange a strange situation. I hooked up with a guy in his mid 40s. He was a very enthusiastic kisser and seemed to enjoy getting his dick sucked prior to him penetrating me. After his dick was in, he just stood there. I rocked and pushed back on him a few times, once almost knocking him over, but he wouldn't start thrusting. I like the guy and will talk with him about it, but how do I make it enjoyable for both of us if he's going to be that passive? That's an interesting one because, well, I kind of like it where he allowed you to, because, you know, a lot of tops often when you meet them just want to thrust in and it's too fast, too soon. And
Okay.
according to Dr. Goldstein, the good doctor, you really need to like
Ease it
go in
in.
gently. But when once
Yeah.
you're in, then you can kind of
Sorry.
control it. But I honestly, at this point in the game, feel like when you're in intercourse, it should be back and forth. There should be moments when that top should really take control and thrust, thrust, thrust. And
Yum.
then he should give it over, like hand it off like the baton and say, now you take over and give that top a break because I've been topping more recently with my
It's hard
boyfriend
work.
and it's hard work.
Tapping is not for the weak, honey. I have to
So
do
to
that
go,
hip thruster 3 times a
yeah,
week
and it's like I think
at
to
the
go
gym.
back and forth is like a realistic expectation that should be, but no, there shouldn't be one or the other. What do you say to that?
I think that okay, this is coming from a reformed lazy top. I think that all lazy tops should be corralled up and they should get like a little scarlet L for a scarlet LT for lazy top on their breast because nobody should want to have sex. Nobody wants to have sex with that. A lazy bottom too. Nobody should wants to have sex with somebody that is not putting in the effort to actually have a wonderful experience. I am now a very active top. I'm telling you, I do the hip thrusters. So that helps with the motion in the ocean. I was watching I was watching another Instagram video of where of another exercises you can do in order to enhance that motion that you have when you're actually thrusting into in delicious lovemaking. So I encourage all people to go there and do what they need to do in order to make sure that they are pleasing their partner because that is not it. And this person needs to have a discussion with the lazy top and tell them that this is not it. We are ejecting lazy tops back to 1979 where they belong and and yeah, just to put in some work, otherwise we're not going to be having sex anymore.
Yeah, it should go back and forth, I think. I
Yeah,
mean,
totally.
yeah, it should just it's fun to grind up on a dick and have your fun, but a top should also take charge because he's on top. And I think both can be true. But if another one shouldn't be passive. We also
Yeah,
don't want bottoms just sitting there either.
yeah, it's a give and take.
Unless it's like a dom top situation where,
But
yeah, absolutely. Oh my
yeah, so
gosh.
also it's all about the rhythm and the hip
Rhythm's gonna
swivel.
get you.
Come on, Gloria
You know
Stefan.
that
You
song?
better get
Oh, you
it.
better not throw out
I love
Claudia.
her. I love Gloria. That's my grandmother's name.
Gloria.
Rest in peace, my love. But yeah, I love Gloria Stefan.
Oh, obsessed.
Yeah.
And on that note, I love that we can always make it a music moment. It's back. Thirst Trap is back by Straight Up Gay Porn, and it's our job, produced by this site. I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com. Reference episode 634. On our job is to describe out of 17 gay porn stars who took the best photo this week. And this is kind of exciting because I picked mine. My boyfriend just picked his because I sent it to
Oh, hey.
him. I put it in the comments section. You got to tell me why, Diego, you picked Daniel and Theo. Is that right, Kodi?
Theo? Who is
I
Theo?
know. Who's he talking about? Anyways, I'm wasting time on something that I don't even know what he's talking about. But let me go to the one that I ended up
Yeah.
picking and voting for, and it was Zane Hawk, who
Where
is
is
middle.
he?
He's at the bottom.
Oh, he's
He
at the
dyed his
bottom.
hair blonde in it. He's Middle Eastern. He's sitting back. He's got a nice hairy chest. He's got a beautiful beard and this blonde hair in it. He's looking straight into the camera and he's got nice hairy legs, like the right amount of hair, and his dick is perfectly shaved. And I went ahead and watched some of his porn just to see, and it was super hot. It's a beautiful thick cock that he knows how to use, and he gets my vote for the week. But there was a lot of hot
Yeah.
ones on there.
Okay, ecstatic. That dick is dangerous. I don't know. It's huge. He's not my pick for the week.
Okay.
But I want to give him a special shout out. My pick for the week is King Marcellus. It's just a beautiful
Oh.
picture. He is sitting on a counter. He must be wanting to serve cake because he's completely naked. He's got his ass on the counter and it's got a erect dick, completely naked with a beautiful necklace on. He's got this come fuck me look on his face. And yeah, he's just gorgeous. He's
I
number 2 in the
love.
voting, actually.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, mine's a little further down the way. I also love Matthew Camp, who's looking delicious and a very
He's looking
thick
good too.
cock and yum yum. Anybody voting on our list right now? Not yet, but that's okay. Hey, we will post this so you can vote for yourselves. And oh my gosh, what a great show, Kodi. So
Mm-hmm.
fun. Happy to be back with
Always.
this in 2025. And you know, you can always follow my co-host Kodi on Instagram at Mr. Maurice. Mr. Maurice. Follow him on Blue Sky on the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V, or on Blue Sky at TAGSPodcast, as well as X at TAGSPodcast, where you get a preview of my Just for Our Fans or Only Fans new content coming out later this week. I promise. Don't forget about our Patreon, where I have brand new videos for our extra special sexy perks tiered members, and you can grab a tier and get my new stretching video that will keep you feeling fabulous, and a bonus episode as well that comes out tomorrow. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And Kodi, as always, in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot gay
gay
sex.
sex. Lovely.